They fumble you.
For one, if I was with somebody and it ain't work out, they lost. So that's first and foremost.
Yeah, you just came out the box, man. Welcome back to One Thing for Certain. As always, I'm LA.
I'm Hollis.
So, want to start off like we normally do by thanking everybody for the support. Special shout out to one of the subscribers, Tilo32. At least that was one that I don't have a problem pronouncing. So one of these days, man, it's gonna be some simple names like, you know, B or C or something like that. Now, man, I'd be like, I almost need a dictionary to pronounce some of this stuff. So look, we want to again thank everybody for the support. It's been amazing. Like I said, the channel's barely been up a little over 2 months. We're closing in on 1,500 subscribers at this point. The videos average about 1,500 views. So it's amazing, man. Because I was at Bojangles the other day and on New Bern Avenue, and I stopped at the window and I got my food, and the girl was like, she's like, "Aren't you the guy that? Don't you have a YouTube channel?" And I said, "Yeah." And she turned around to the other girls in the kitchen like, "I told y'all that's who that was."
Superstar
Yeah,
status.
so it's kind of weird. I told my mom, man, it's kind of weird with people that you have no idea, like, cause listen, I gain Instagram followers like every week, and like, I have no idea who these people are. So when they message me, I'm like, where do I know you from? They're like, "Oh, I subscribe to your channel." I was like, "Oh, I got you." So in that regards, man, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool when they were like, "Oh, yeah, we recognize you from your channel." So with that being said, shout out to the girls at Bojangles.
On New Bern Avenue.
On New Bern Avenue, there we go, yeah. So yeah, I put her to the window and she was like, "I told y'all that's who that was." I was like, okay. So, but yeah, so how was your weekend, man?
Man, great weekend. Just hung out at the house, relaxed, did some yard work. That's it.
Well, we've already talked about how my weekend is. We ain't gonna talk about it on the channel, I can tell you that. So look, the nice question is a good one. It's actually one question. I guess you could call it a two-parter, I guess.
Two-parter, I think. Yeah.
So the nice question is, have you ever fumbled a good relationship? Or have you ever been the person that was fumbled? And how did you put it? Have you ever been the fumbler or the fumblee? Hey, so it's a two-part question, because some of you might have been the person that you feel like was fumbled, and some of you might feel like you're the person that fumbled a good relationship. Mm-hmm. So, since it was your question, what do you think?
Oh man!
Wait a minute. Well, I guess I can ask you: Have you ever been the fumbler or the fumblee?
I think I've been both.
Both. Okay.
So
if you were the fumbler, how do you think you fumbled it?
I think I fumbled some situations where I didn't realize where I was in life.
All right.
And again, with me, everything is about timing. So I think I've been the wrong person at the right time and the right person at the wrong time. I think it comes down to that. Focusing on outside things like work and different priorities more so than relationships. And it's a perfect balance of finding that timing. So I think I've really, for the majority of my adult life, not put the emphasis on relationships.
All right, so that's how you fumbled.
Yes.
So how were you the fumblee?
Well, for one,
how did they fumble you?
For one, if I was with somebody and it ain't work out, they lost. So that's first and foremost.
Yeah, you just came out the box with it, huh?
If you don't feel like that, something's wrong. I know what I bring to the table. I know who I am as a person. Hey. I know my character and my value as a person. So hey. I know, if it didn't work out at some point in life, they're gonna realize that's how secure I know what I and who I am.
So you say you're somebody out there living with some regret, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man,
absolutely.
Okay.
And hopefully everybody feels that way. If you don't feel that way, then I'm gonna, you need to do some work on yourself. I know I do the work. I put the work in. If anybody that knows me, that's one thing I'm not scared of.
You should not be afraid to say you messed up.
That's right.
Some people are. Some people won't admit they messed up. Some people would never admit they fumbled away a good relationship.
That's right.
They quick to admit that they would have fumbled. Oh, no, somebody, they messed up. I was a good person.
That's a good point.
So
that's a very good point.
It's always like that. So, wow. I respect that, man.
Now, I will say the people that don't want to admit that they made a mistake, those are the people that are going to be destined to repeat that because there's something inside of them that won't identify they made a mistake. If you can't acknowledge your mistake, how can you correct it?
That's 100% true.
So I can admit that I've been the wrong person for the right person in many circumstances.
Well, again, great point. and I got to piggyback on that and say the same thing. I have been the fumbler, and I have been the fumbling. Now, I already know. Since you explained your reasoning, I'll explain mine.
There you go.
But listen, have I fumbled away a good relationship? Of course I have. Again, like we just said, if you sit there and say you have not, then you need to really look at yourself. Because it's not one person amongst us that has not fumbled away a good relationship.
That's right.
The dilemma is, why did you do it? Why do you think you did it? It's not a matter of if you did it. You did it. Again, I've been in relationships where I really had my focus. Like when I first got divorced, I met, I met several good women.
Okay.
And at the time, I just was not, my mind was not in a place to start a new relationship. And it wasn't fair to them, even though I went out with them and we dated and so forth. It really wasn't fair to them because my mind wasn't ready to be in another relationship.
Makes sense.
And then when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, she was, great job, attractive, pretty much the whole package. But I just wasn't ready for it.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing in a way because it's, in a way, I guess I should have known that.
Mm-hmm.
And you really should let the other person know. And I don't think I was upfront by saying, hey, you know what? I don't think I'm really ready for a relationship right now. So in those regards, I've fumbled away a relationship before. And I think I've been the fumbler because I'm like you. I know what I bring to the table. So do I think I've been fumbled? Of course I do. I don't hold any animosity towards it because it is what it is. They have their reasons. They might not even know they fumbled away a good relationship. You think there's people that know they messed up with you?
Absolutely.
You get some that won't admit it.
But like I said, if they won't admit it, then that's on them.
Yeah.
You can give away treasure to somebody else and be upset.
What's that saying? Another woman's trash is another woman's treasure?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Look, listen, have you ever had somebody tell you they messed up? They fumbled?
Absolutely.
I've had somebody tell me that they fumbled.
Absolutely.
I'm like, wow. Like, I didn't even know how to really react to it. Like, really? Because you ended the relationship like that. And I'm like, now you telling me I fumbled.
I think it's a lot of times the expectation is the men make the mistakes in relationships in a lot of cases. I think a lot of situations, men are expected to fumble the ball more so than women.
Yeah, because I told you this story. My ex-wife had a bridal shower.
Ooh.
Right? And Hollis got a trip out of this. While she was at the bridal shower, her friends told her, well, not all of them. We're not gonna stereotype that whole group.
Absolutely.
It was a couple of her friends at that bridal shower that told her she was making a mistake by marrying me because I had a reputation.
Are they really friends? That's my question.
Well, this is the second part of that story. Out of those women that were telling her that, one of those women had tried to talk to me while I was dating her. That was foul.
That tells you.
Yeah, that was foul.
Jealous ones envy. Jealous ones envy.
So at the end of the day, I can truly say that I fumbled away a good relationship, and I have been the fumbler. So, fumbler and the fumbly. But that really until we were talking about this whole subject, it didn't dawn on me, and I was like, "Hey, man, this chick, she That still bothers me to this day. Like, that's supposed to be your friend, and she's telling you that I literally was not a good person to marry because I had a reputation. Yeah, you were the one trying to talk to me.
But you know why?
She for the streets? That's your favorite saying, right?
She's for the streets. She's for the streets.
She for the streets?
You can't change that. And that's jealousy.
Yeah.
I'm going to sabotage what she has. I don't want her to be happy.
And the funny thing is, in my opinion, my ex-wife fumbled me away.
You think she thinks that now?
I know she does. I know for a fact she does.
The grass is not always greener.
No, it's not.
And that goes for men and women. Because I know I can look back and say, I've never ended a relationship because the grass was greener on the other side. But I can definitely say a lot of friends, a lot of people I talk to, a lot of associates, that a lot of times people think that. They think that, oh, this person has flaws. I'm going to find somebody that doesn't have this particular flaw. Okay, maybe a trade-off. They may not do X, but they're going to do Y and Z. So, as they say, the devil you do know is sometimes better than the devil you don't know.
Well, I had an ex a while back that told me, this was, we dated a while back, and she said that the guy she started dating, she said, yeah, she told me, he does things that you didn't do. But on the flip side, there's things that you did that he didn't do.
It's always a trade-off.
And I said, obviously.
That's right.
Everybody's not the same.
And nobody's perfect.
And if it's one thing that drives me insane, I do not like being compared to somebody else in a relationship. Because everybody is different.
Everybody.
And that's something I don't like to do. Now, if you ask me, if we're dating and you ask me about somebody and I say, well, this is, I had somebody ask me one time, obviously when you first meet somebody, the first question is, that, they're curious about your last relationship.
Absolutely.
But what happened? That's topic of conversation. But if it's constantly a topic of conversation, because I don't like to keep talking about a breakup.
Absolutely.
I'm like, okay, you know what happened with the last breakup. Okay, here we go. we gotta keep talking about it.
Reliving it.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm out of curiosity, I'll ask you about your last relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, yeah, I've had somebody that fumbled me away, and called me and told me, like, yeah, this is I should have did this and I should have did that. I'm like, yeah. So, have you ever called somebody and told them that?
I have, and not that I fumbled, but I've definitely made some phone calls and had some conversations around apologizing and expressing my sincere apology for being the wrong person being the right person at the wrong time, and not being able to express that necessarily in that moment. So I've definitely made that call a time or two.
I've done that. I've called and said, "Look, I messed up. And this is why I messed up." This is something that intrigues me here. If you can make that phone call, or that person can make that phone call to you, why couldn't you have had that conversation when you were together? Because now you're doing your thing, she's or he are doing their thing, and you realize, okay, well, this is where I messed up, this is where he messed up. And why couldn't you just have figured that out when you were together?
If I can only speak for myself. For myself, my focus was work. My focus was going to work and being the best version of myself for work. And that was very time consuming. And it was almost an obsession. It was almost who I was as a person. My identity was tied into my career. So there was not a lot of space for a person.
Yeah.
And if there was a contradiction between who I needed to be for work or who I needed to be personally, in most cases, work won.
All right, but so when you entered into that relationship, if you knew your focus was work, did you tell them that, or did they? Oh,
absolutely.
You did?
Absolutely. But that doesn't make it right.
No, I get what you're saying.
And a lot of times,
but I think if you tell somebody your situation and they stay, then that means they're accepting it.
Sometimes people accept things they really can't deal with.
Well, here's the thing.
They say in the beginning, "Oh, I understand," but when it comes down to the reality of me being gone, I travel, me being gone every week,
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be funny here, but using this as an example, like if I meet a female and she smokes crack, right? And then all of a sudden I'm like, I can't stay with you because you smoke crack. Yeah, but I knew you smoked crack.
But did you know how it would affect you in the process?
You might not, maybe I didn't care.
Maybe there was something about her that said, you know what, she may be a crackhead, but she's a good person. I'm gonna see where this can go. Maybe she's not like Felicia from Friday. Maybe she's not gonna take my DVD player or VCR. Maybe
I just think if you go into, I feel like this: if you go into a relationship with somebody and you know the situation, then okay.
But if you don't, you may think but you can't deal with it. The reality is, you go fix a plate of food. You say, I'm getting all this food, but then next thing you know, you can't finish the plate. Same thing with people. You think you can deal with certain aspects of people until the reality comes and you realize, wow, that's not a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you think you have the capacity to love through something, but when the reality hits, you don't.
At the end of the day, 99% of any relationship that I fumbled is because either it was because of work. I was just way too focused. I'll be honest and admit, I think that was part of why my marriage fell apart, is because I was way too focused on work.
Okay.
I had my reasons for what I thought, and it came up when we went to marriage counseling. The counselor asked me why was I so focused on work. I don't really think that mattered. At the end of the day, I should have realized, hey, I'm in this marriage. This is what's going on. I should have realized I should have needed a marriage counselor to tell me that.
Yes.
On the flip side, when I was fumbled, I just think, and I think we talked about this one time before. I feel like, here's the thing. I feel like if you're in a committed relationship and you love each other, and love is not always the only thing. Sometimes they say, love is not enough. That's true.
Love comes in my mind. Love comes second, but that's another conversation.
My thing is, you should be able to sit down and look at each other and say, this is what our issues are.
I agree.
How can we fix them?
I agree.
I should not have to find out what our issues are after we don't talk anymore.
That's true.
I've had relationships that ended like that. Like, okay, really? You didn't make it seem like it was that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. Like, I had somebody literally mention something to me, right? And I'm like, okay, I get it. That's, like, they'll say it like nonchalant, like this and that. And I'm like, and then we're not together anymore. And then I'll get a text or something saying, well, you didn't do this. And I'm like, we literally could have talked about that night.
Yep.
But you didn't make it seem like it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, I'm like, so yeah, that bothers me, because I'm the type of person where I can sit you down face to face and say, hey, this is what we need to talk about.
I agree. I think is, and I won't try not to turn it to a man-woman thing, but I think that's men. We think very logical in our emotions. We think very logical, and we think very cause and effect.
Yeah. And
sometimes everything's not about cause and effect. Everything is not about logically thinking about why this happened, why it didn't happen. Sometimes it's about just owning your feelings, living in that moment, and expressing yourself, and moving on.
Oh yeah.
That's tough to do for us sometimes. I know for me personally, because I'm a solution-based person.
Me too. I don't think there's ever a problem that can't be worked out.
Absolutely.
I feel like if you're mature and you really truly want to be together,
mm-hmm.
You can discuss it.
That's why I say the number one thing for a relationship is commitment. Love comes second.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're committed, you can work. You committed to working through things.
If you're committed, then that love is enough. If you're committed, because the love is gonna fade. It's gonna be you're gonna be more in love than they are for this month, this year, this week. Oh, yeah.
They're gonna be more in love than you are. But if you're both committed, then that gets you through those tough times.
Okay, I gotta throw a wrench in this whole channel right now. I'm gonna announce our next topic before we even record. So y'all might want to pay attention to what I'm getting ready to ask. In a relationship, should one person love the other one more?
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
Think about that.
That's good.
Our next topic, since a lot of y'all want that anyway, a lot of people have asked.
That's deep.
Can we know in advance y'all next question? That's the next question. I want y'all to think about that for the next channel. In a relationship, should one person love the other person more than the other?
Ooh, I'm ready for that, but we're gonna put it on hold.
And let me tell you right now, I got a lot to say about that.
That's good. That's
and
good.
I'm sure there's somebody else too, because there's a couple of people that had that, and I'm like, you know what? So for the first time ever, we're announcing our next topic before we even get to it.
Oh, it's gonna be
again. Think about this before you even log into the channel. Should one person love the other person more in a relationship?
That's a good topic.
Again, thanks for the support. Remember the next topic, and make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Peace.
Peace.